Hey everybody, welcome to my channel, Ron Harris Muscle. Joining me today is the Boston Mass Jose Raymond, the 2015 Arnold Classic 212 champion, to preview this year's Arnold Classic in Columbus, Ohio, coming up in just a few days. Just a note here, there were only 6 Arnold Classic 212 championships ever held. That's how long that division lasted in the Arnold. Jose competed in every single one of them. So kudos to you. I didn't even know that, man. That's an accomplishment in and of itself.
It was 5.
Oh, there were 5.
I don't know why you keep saying 6.
I don't know. I got that number stuck in my head. So
14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
You're right. So yeah, you would have won the first one, except this guy Flex Lewis decided to jump in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an amazing track record. But let's get to it because this has become a bigger show kind of than it was because the prize money's gone way up. For a long time, it was like a 100, 125. They kept it much lower than the Olympia for a long time, and then recently they decided screw that. They bumped it up last year at 300, and that's boosted the lineup. And before we get started, there were 2 guys who would have been in the show that I think would have been great additions, but Andrew Jack decided not to do it. He'd been competing like nonstop for the past 2 years. And Neckzilla, Rubiel Mascara from Colombia. I'm not sure why he didn't do it. I think he had just you could see from the pictures he wasn't really prepping or anything, but let's focus on the guys who are in it. Let's start from the top. We have Mr. Olympia 2022, Hadi Choopan, has to be the favorite going into this because he's Mr. Olympia. He won the Olympia. None of these guys, no one in this lineup has ever beaten him. Let's go to his Instagram. But tell me, if you were Hadi's advisor, would you have told him this is a good idea, do the Arnold Classic, or don't do the Arnold Classic? Bad idea.
You know me, Ron. I say always compete. Yeah. I think it's a great way for Hadi to prove himself that he is one of the best in the world at what he does, no matter who he goes against. And I think he can win this. I think he could have won the last Olympia. I think he could have won many Olympias by now. I mean, he's won one, but you could argue he could have won more. I think, and he's not a 300-pound guy. It's not like he needs huge breaks and lots of time off and lots of time to get conditioned. He's going to be ready. It's a big prize money, as you said, for his family, and just another feather in his cap. I think it's a great idea to do it.
I mean, the only real risk is that if, for some crazy reason, we've all seen things go so many different ways over the years, if for some reason he gets beat by Samson or somebody else in this lineup, does that put him in a bad spot to try to regain his title at the Olympia way down the line a few months from now, toward the end of the year?
Maybe emotionally, but he's still going to walk with what, 175,000 for second place, or 150,000. That's not bad. And, it shows that he's a competitor. He wants to go out there and compete against everyone. So I don't think it's a bad thing. And, I love that thought process. Just go and do it. Keep showing up. You're not afraid of anyone. So I don't think there's any bad conclusion here. And if he loses to Samson, that's not the baddest thing ever either, because Samson is like a freight train getting better every single day. So, I still think he can beat Samson, but if he were to lose to him, it's not because he sucks. It's because Samson is awesome.
Yeah. Samson has been getting better. I think Hadi's been I feel like Hadi's probably maxed out, but that happens to everybody at some point where they're as good as they're going to get. And he was obviously good enough to be Mr. Olympia. So that could be it. But, what do you see as any room for improvement that he could still make to his physique at this point?
Well, Hadi has added a ton of size. He's a lot bigger than when I faced him in 2017. He's a lot bigger. I think if he can combine this new added thickness and size with the condition that he was showing up in earlier on, then he'll be very hard to beat. I don't think Samson is quite ready to beat that if it's the combination of all this new muscle and condition.
Yeah. No, I agree. Samson, let's take a look at Samson real quick now. This guy's coming on strong. He's obviously the reigning champion. Oh, he's already here in the U.S. He's got the height, the width, the mass, the shape, condition. Yeah, he gets knocked a lot for not being in the greatest condition any bodybuilder's ever been in. Do you see that as a liability for him, or do you think he brings enough condition considering he's got so much else going on?
I think it's been a liability in the past, but the photos I've been seeing leading up to this show, he is balls on. I mean, the side leg, the side glutes, the hamstring, everything looks bigger and harder and more defined. His pecs have crazy deep striations now. I'm seeing things out of Samson that I've never seen out of him. So I'm starting to I'm starting to believe. I'm starting to jump on the hype train here. It's taken a while though. I still have yet to see his back, at where I think it could be. And that affects a few poses. That I think Hadi takes the front double and the rear double just because of the high lats on Samson. But it remains to be seen. And I think
Yeah.
I think Samson could quite possibly take the side poses now. I think he definitely wins the side tricep. So when you go through it that way, I don't think anyone beats Hadi in the ab and thigh. But man, is Hadi's back crazy? That rear lat spread. As awesome as Derek's back is, I thought Hadi won the rear lat spread convincingly.
Yeah, that was the closest Olympia. I know the Olympia was a few months ago, but I'm still like torn. As much as I appreciate Derek's physique, I had that as like a dead heat between those two. I could not make up my damn mind between Derek and Hadi at that Olympia.
Yeah, that was a tough call.
Yeah.
Derek definitely brought up his legs, which made a huge difference. And now he's got this rear double that is legendary.
Yeah.
So when you have a pose like that is so unbelievable, it's shocking how impressive his rear double is. So I think that went a long way, as well as a few other things, but I'll keep that out for now.
Yeah. So I mean, it's obviously there's like 12 guys in the show, but I mean, I really see this as coming down to Samson and Hadi. I can't see anyone coming close to the battle between those two. We'll get to a few more guys in a second, but here's one last thing about Samson. They say a good big man beats a good small man, and I guess they're just talking about height. Neither one of us is a tall guy, but do you think that is a huge advantage for Samson? That he's about 6 foot to Hadi's like 5'5", 5'6"?
Of course it is. I did Dennis Wolf's podcast last week, and we talked about that. His co-host asked us, who do you think would win at your all-time best, me or Dennis? And I had no problem saying Dennis, just because he's so much bigger, taller, wider, takes up more space. So yes, I do think if Samson's at his all-time best, it's going to be tough, especially if Hadi's not at his all-time best.
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen Hadi. The only time, I wouldn't say off, but we have such high standards for people like you yourself. You are known for that grainy condition and being dialed in all the time. If you were ever like 2% off that, people would say Jose's flat or Jose's a little watery. When you might have still been the hardest guy on stage. When you set that precedent, it really is, even though it shouldn't be that way. Like, you're not really being judged against everyone else on that stage exactly as much as you're also being judged at you versus yourself at your best. Because we all remember. I remember when he looked like this. I remember this show, like Jay, that was a 2001 Olympia that they keep talking about, the 2009 Olympia.
Yeah,
he looked great at many other shows, but people always want to harp on those two shows.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go to everything else. This is not in any particular order. This is let's go to guy who was, I think were you coaching, or Evan was coaching at one time? Hollingshead. Evan was coaching him at one point. So James took off all last year. Made a lot of improvements, I think, in terms of size. With him, when I saw him a few times, it was always either a little bit flat or the condition wasn't really crisp. it was always like just one little thing missing. But I'm a big fan of this guy. I think he's gotten a lot better. Let's get to a physique shot of him if we can find one, a recent one. He's still training. Look at all the weight he was still using.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love the way he trains. I absolutely love James. I think he's one of the real guys in the industry that's just a, down to earth, real dude, and trains unbelievable.
Yeah. So this was a fairly recent update. If you look at the front double bicep here, he's a guy that I could see the shape and everything on him, but he needed more roundness and fullness. And I think he's done a great job of bringing that out. This last year, that's a gamble to take a year off of competing, as you know, because these careers don't last forever. Bodybuilding, yeah. If you have a 5-year pro career, you're doing pretty damn well. If you're up there for 10 years at the top level, that's very rare indeed. Like yourself and a few others. But yeah. James, what do you see as far as what he's accomplished since the last time we've seen him on stage?
He's rounder, he's fuller, and he's a lot drier from what I'm seeing. You say it's a tough call to take a year off, but he's not very old. He's still in his early to mid 30s, and what he's done in that year has definitely been worth the time off, because it's not like he took time off and did nothing. Look at that shot. That's awesome. He's got some shots that are lights out. Like, that is an awesome shot. Yeah. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if he were able to be a third place guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, it's, this condition, I feel like he's a guy that I've seen this level of condition or close to it, but leading up to a show, but I've never really seen this on stage with him. He's a guy that it must be tricky to load this guy properly and dry him out properly, like anybody really. But yeah, if he can nail this stuff, I see him up there in that first call out. Would not be surprised one bit if we see him in third place. Yeah, his back. I mean, you could see. We've talked about this before. There's a different look to people who train super heavy, super intense. The Branch style, the Jose style, the Dorian style. It's a different quality of the muscle, Ronnie. You don't get that with machines and a lot of light weights. So yeah.
His only fault, I can praise him all day, but his only fault is he's a bit narrow through the clavicles for such a big man.
Yeah.
So it does throw off certain shots, like his front lat and his front double, or even the rear poses. His side shots, he can stand with anyone. His legs can stand with anyone. His arms, each muscle is there and it's full and round. It's just a matter of the clavicle width that kind of throws him off. And that's really the only down point I could say. So if every other thing is on point, muscularity, symmetry, condition, balance, then he's dangerous, very dangerous.
Right, because we can all think of another guy that didn't have the widest clavicles. This guy Phil Heath, and he won 7 Olympias in a row.
Right, so, right, exactly.
I see a similar structure. Phil, if we're looking at this front double, I don't think Phil's clavicles were much wider than this, to be honest.
No,
he did have lower lat insertions. I'll give him that. Phil did.
Yeah,
but man, like you said, as far as doing the best with what you got, James is right up there. All right, let's go on to a guy I know you've probably seen some even more recent updates than even we see on Instagram. If I can find his not horse MD, Rafa, another guy who took the last year off. Rafael from Brazil.
Yeah,
he's rocking this cool mustache now. These are older pictures. That's older because that's the Olympia when he was in Vegas. He's been keeping pretty quiet in terms of recent update pictures, which is very rare these days because everyone expects, look at the Mario Brothers. Everyone expects, underwear pictures every damn day, and they get kind of disappointed. So this was 2 days ago. Okay. So again, we know this guy has beautiful shape, structure, symmetry, really, really aesthetically pleasing physique. When he took 10th at the Olympia, I said, man, if this guy can keep all of those attributes and get a little thicker, a little fuller and rounder, it's going to be lights out for some people. It looks to me, and you have, you're a good friend of his coach. Chris Aceto was your coach. I don't know how much mass he's put on. I think, is it about 10 pounds, you think?
So Ron, I don't know if you know, he's that person in the photo with him is Neil
Neil,
Hill.
yes, Neil, of course.
He
Oh,
switched to
that's right.
Neil.
God, Ryan, duh.
So
I knew this too.
I think in that photo he does look bigger. And let me just start by saying Rafa is probably one of my favorite physiques in all of bodybuilding. It's just, I said it many times before. He looks like an action figure. If you were to put in a computer like the perfect physique, that's him. It's so well put together. There's no telling. He's on a whole new plan, a whole new situation with a whole new coach. So I don't know what it's going to look like as far as condition or even size. It appears that he's gotten thicker,
Yeah.
but only time will tell. Hopefully it was a good move for him, and he is better, but we won't know until we see it.
Apologies to Neil Hill. Neil, I knew that, and I don't know why it went through my brain like that. I'm in a brain fog. So there's Neil, my man.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, Neil. All right, let's go to the next guy. We're gonna stay in Brazil for the next guy, of course. And I think this is I think they actually trained together. We're talking about Horse MD, Marcelo De Angelis. So he was a classic guy up until I think he's another one who took all last. He took most of the year off. He did his pro debut in the open division, his open debut, I should say, at the Romania show, and got third place. Was it behind Regan and Nathan?
Ron, I don't think he was ever a classic guy. I think he tried to.
Yeah.
And when he went to weigh-ins, he was like 5 or 10 kilos off.
So he never even made it.
No, I don't think he actually ever did classic. I think he thought about it and tried to, but it didn't work out. He's way too big. But his physique is awesome. I believe the last time he competed against Rafa beat him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was, I think, last year or whatever year Rafael qualified and got 10th, which was last year.
Well, Rafa took last year off. So
the whole year?
Yeah, we didn't see Brandeo last year at all.
Oh,
And
wow. Okay, so
So DeAngelis did he's only done one open show now, the Romania, but like I said, third place. So this was here it was in Bucharest, Romania. And I forget who it was. Was Kamali actually was the one that pointed out to me. Similar structure and shape to Dennis Wolf. Very similar. The
sweeping
limbs,
quads.
look at the quads on this guy. The quads, and I'm always impressed when they have this from the side too.
Yeah.
That ham drop and that crazy separation between the ham and the quad, the glute tie-in. Arms and legs are phenomenal. Like a lot of guys with great limbs, he could still stand to be a little bit thicker in the chest and the back. But here he is at his open debut in Romania. Astonishing for a guy that was trying to make classic.
Yeah.
He wasn't that far off. I mean, close enough that he thought he could make it. So it wasn't like he was 20, 30 pounds over. But he's another guy that, although I would like to see more of that in the front to back thickness and the chest and the back, I still see him as a first call out guy. What do you think about his physique going up against the likes of Hadi and Samson?
I think he could. That's what's beautiful about this particular show is just about every guy could end up in the first call out, depending on how things roll. And it, remains to be seen what his back looks like. I think that's his only knock is his back.
Yeah.
And along with condition. So you never know. I certainly like his physique enough to be a first call out guy. Yeah. We just don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's only 12 guys in the show, so if they do a 6-man call out, that's half the lineup right there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on to a guy we're both good friends with, I think. Let's find him. Jonathan. So Jonathan was gone for a little bit, a couple of years. He came back last year, Jonathan De La Rosa. He's won some shows. Another guy who's got very few flaws. Structure's great, shape's great, he's thick. Condition. With him, my only knock, what I wanted to see more of was like really deep, clear separation in a few areas, particularly the quads. He's got all kinds of size and shape, but you got to root for this guy. He's been through the ringer a few times with life, and he came back last year with 2 second places behind Justin Shear. Justin's going to kill me. I can never get this right. Shire?
Shire's good.
Shire's good. Okay. And then the other show, he came second to Hunter Labrada. No, not too shabby, but man, second place. I know it stings. So another guy that could very easily be in first call out. Looks to me like he's actually filled out a little bit more than what I remember.
Yeah, and he looks drier to me. I think that extra year of training after being injured is right where he needs to be. To be honest, I think John had a similar physique to me in that if he wasn't super dry, you don't see those separations, But the show's not today. It's not yesterday. It's next week. So we'll see where he's at. But another guy that's one of my favorite physiques. He's thick from head to toe, and every shot he's crazy thick. He's got nice shape. He's not missing a thing. He just has to be 100%. Not worry about being huge and heavy. Just be as conditioned as possible, and that physique will speak for itself. He's another guy who certainly could be top 6, if not better. There's no one in this lineup that blows him away.
No.
So he could be another guy that could end up in third. Why not?
Yeah, I think he reminds me of you in another aspect is the best looks I've seen from Jonathan was when he came in lighter than usual, because it just brought the details just brought everything out that much more.
I agree, absolutely.
Yeah. Let's go to this guy. You can't help but love this guy and root for him all the time. Trying to find him. I got these lined up somewhere here. Antoine from Canada. Antoine Vaillant. Love this guy. This guy tore both his biceps over the past couple of years. Most people never come back after him. You would never be able to tell. Well, I've zoomed in on pictures. He's talking, so not a lot of updates there. But yeah, I've zoomed in on pictures of his biceps and stuff, and you can't tell. You can't see a scar, nothing. He's got these ridiculous calves. Here's what I'm really impressed. His legs are crazy. But this is what he never had, this type of detail. This kind of he's getting the old man muscle now, the muscle maturity.
I was just going to say that, he never had this many years of training under his belt.
True.
So he's slowly learning and honing his craft. This will be his best by far. He's got a real pretty physique, reminds me of the days of who was the guy that was always top 5 at the Olympia in Lee Haney's day.
Barry DeMay?
No. He was like a openly gay guy.
Not Bob Paris.
Bob Paris.
Bob Paris.
He's got a Bob Paris, tall, thick, a pretty physique, but only with massive legs.
These legs are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, his legs were always good, but when he lost all that upper body training time, I think he was doing legs 3 times a week.
Look at that shot right there. That is awesome.
Yeah. I mean, he's when you say dark horse, it kind of makes people think, oh, so he's not good. You just think, no, I think he's going to be surprised at this show because not too many people are talking about him as far as pushing for the win. And I don't think he's necessarily pushing. You got Mr. Olympia in the show. You got the defending Arnold Classic champ in the show. But still, I think Antoine's going to be – there's a bicep. Would you ever know that bicep was torn?
No.
Not one deformity. I don't see the scar because he had them both surgery on both of them.
He's going to turn some heads, no question. And he really knows how to use his body. He knows how to pose to show off his physique to its best.
Yeah, I'm trying to find this one. There you go. So this was 3.5 weeks out. And look at the detail. Look at the striation because we don't see that level of delt striation very often because a lot of guys pin their delts, so we lose some of this fine detail. Yeah, I think he's got one of the best sets of delts that we've seen in years and years.
Yep. So, he always has had great shoulders.
Great shoulders, calves, obviously. There's a little bit of genetic component to that. But still, man, props to Antoine. I wish the kid the best. Let's go to another guy. Let's go to Hakeem. The Beast.
Hakeem's a guy I've been seeing updates quite a bit about.
Oh, here we go.
Because he is currently working with Chris.
Oh, okay. So let's go to some pictures. Yeah, he's another guy that needs to be 100% on because he's got all the size in the world. These legs, these arms, his side shots are crazy. His front double's crazy. He's coming back from a shoulder surgery. He did the Arnold last year in horrible shoulder pain. I did an interview with him a few months back, and he was just holding off on surgery until he did that Arnold. So hopefully it's not bothering him anymore. I know it's been fixed, but he's been top 5 in the show before. He was 6th place at the Olympia. I just think in a lineup like this, he's going to have to nail that condition to get a really good look.
Well, that goes for any show he's ever done.
Yeah.
But when he does, he's bigger than everyone. He's the biggest guy pound for pound on stage.
Yeah.
He's massive. And
yeah.
He's looking good, and he changes fast. He's been getting drier and harder every set of pictures I've seen. I'm actually really excited to see it because he's had a tough couple of outings, and he's a guy that belongs in the conversation.
For sure. This made me cringe though when I saw this. This was 2 weeks ago, 2 or 3
What's
weeks
he got? 200-pound dumbbells?
200s, and you can see the wobbling on a couple of these right there. Oh, especially coming back from a shoulder surgery. Oh, dude, you don't know.
Well, the surgery must have worked.
Yeah, or else he wouldn't even be attempting that. But yeah, strong guy. Of course, it's not really that important, but a lot of fans love to see that because it's just an extra level. Let's go to I believe he's another fine Puerto Rican like yourself. Let's go to the Nightmare. He used to be called. He wasn't always going by Justin. What was he? Luis Rodriguez before? Yeah. So let's see if we got a recent picture of him. So he's been top 5 in the show before. He's been top 10 at the Olympia before. Kind of hard to tell what's going on there. It was a little dark. He's just his kids. Yeah, we're not going to see any physique updates in those pictures. Yeah, I'm not worried about him being in shape. But when he's on, see here, this was 2 days ago, peak week.
Yeah.
I'd want to see a little better detail than that a week out from the show, wouldn't you?
Yeah. That's been the knock, right?
Yeah.
When he's in shape, his shape is really nice. When his stomach is under control, he's got enough size to stand with anyone. He's got those crazy arms, and yeah, look at that. I mean, that's impressive. And he's very wide. He's as wide as anyone. Crazy. But I don't know what that's going to look like on stage. A lot of times we're just judging from Instagram, but you don't know what he had the night before, what he ate, if he just got off the step mill. We don't know. So he could be dry as hell the day of the show. Look at that. Was that recent?
That was, it says 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks, so yeah. So that's the thing with him is you can't go by the Instagram with him because I've seen it go both ways where I'm worried. I look at him and go, this guy is way behind. And then he shows up and I'm like, oh, okay, never mind. He fit whatever it was. He dried out. He did whatever he had to do. And I've seen him look better in the updates. But man, like Boston Pro, remember when he took second at Bonnack? That was one of the best. That was one of the best looks I've ever seen from him.
Yeah,
very, very impressive.
He has the stature that really stands out when he's just sitting there in a front relax. He's so big and wide that you can't take your eyes off him. So he's got that going for him. Let's see. I hope he comes in his best condition.
Yeah, I mean, we always say that, like, obviously, we can't get a stage where everyone's at their best because these are human beings we're talking about, not robots. But we're always hoping for the best. Let's go to Shaban, Mohammed Shaban. He actually goes by Mohammed Shaban El Mbabi now. But this is a guy when he's on, he's very dangerous too. Try to find some recent. Okay, so I assume that was recent. Yeah. Okay. Well, now is that his top 4? No, that was from another. He was showing somebody. But yeah, Mo has really good size, shape. When he's conditioned, I think he's got to be in the conversation too for a first call out.
Why not? He's got great legs, great, thickness everywhere. He's another guy, Ron, I believe was at 212 at one point.
Yeah, I think so. It's been a minute.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, he's got his clothes on for mostly. So he's training with the electrodes. Did you ever try that?
No.
No? That's a
No.
Venice thing. I'm surprised you haven't because you've been out to Venice many times.
Yeah, that was Brad Rowe was doing that out there for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. The Zoom Newbie, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Yes. Look at that. Look at that waist.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah. For someone to go from 212 to open and keep a small waist, that's not easy. Not easy at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trained by the great Charles Glass. Okay. And we got one more guy in the open. He was the amateur winner last year. Remico, let me find him. There he is. So let's see if he's got anything recent. I've seen posts like he feels like he's being written off and stuff, and it's because he doesn't have a name yet. This is his pro debut.
Yeah.
Just to be share the stage with a Mr. Olympia winner, with an Arnold Classic winner, with all these guys who have been on the Olympia stage, I think that's an honor to be able to see where you stand with the best in the world the very first time you get up there. Good shape. I think I'd want to see more legs on this guy. I'd want to see a little more, just more size overall. But this isn't a knock. This is just the starting point for this guy.
Is that recent?
Yeah, this is a week ago.
All right. I can't tell much from the photos. Is he a taller guy? Is he?
I don't think because he won. Turned pro as a light heavy. So judging by the mass, I'm guessing he's probably like I'm gonna throw. I bet he's like my height, 5'7", 5'7.5", something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, God bless him.
Yeah.
And I wish him the best. I wish everybody up there the best. This is not an easy sport.
Yeah.
Right, well, that is the open. For Classic, we're not going to go through every single guy, but let's go through what I consider the probable top four. We're going to start with the defending champion, the dinosaur emoji guy. Hey, Brazilians, what's up, Brazilians? Ramondino. I did a video last weekend called "Who Will Win" or something. It was a picture of Ramon and Urs in the thumbnail and everything. And I got like 1,500 comments, all from, you can tell by the names, they were all from Brazil.
Yeah.
And of course, they're all behind their guy, as they should be. He's pretty great. Okay, so he's still working with Chris, right?
Yes.
Okay, I don't want to screw it up again. So he doesn't, I don't know if he's got anything recent for an update. Maybe he doesn't
I've seen him. He looks like a cartoon. He looks insane. This kid, he needs very little time to prepare for a show. He grows so fast, and the condition, he's one of the most dense muscle people on earth. Like seriously, he has fibers and lines and thickness. Even though he doesn't look that big, but up close, the muscle's so thick and detailed and separated. It's a very unique look. That's what makes him special.
Well, Classic's not supposed to be about big. It's supposed to, they are supposed to have, it's still bodybuilding. You're supposed to have a certain amount of size, but this is what it's all about. That proportion, the shape, the symmetry, just the flow. It's a beautiful physique.
And he has it.
Nobody's beaten this guy for the past couple of years except for Bumstead.
Right.
I think Urs only beat him that first Olympia 2021, and they were fourth and fifth. It wasn't like he blew him out of the water. We'll get to Urs in a second, but I love Urs. You love Urs, but I mean, Ramon is just going to be. It's very, very tough to beat this guy. Very tough.
Yeah. Yeah. The year that Urs beat him, Ramon missed his flight. He showed up the morning of prejudging.
Wow. Well, there you go. That explains it to me.
He was eating like cookies and stuff at the airport to hold him over.
Just look at that. Just everything's so. Every muscle belly is like goes to all the way to the joint. Joints are tiny.
Yeah.
He was just built for this. Just like Bumstead, they were just built to be. They were born to be Classic Physique champions.
Yeah.
So look at that. So all right, but let's look at his competition. The only guy that's really been pushing him the past couple of years, aside from Bumstead, and he's beaten him, like I said, at the last few times they faced off. The Miracle Bear. We love this kid. Came to Boston, won that. So let's see.
He's awesome.
He's a great dancer. He's funny. Cool kid, man.
Yeah.
He's got a strong social media game.
He's got it. He's got what they say is it. He's got superstar quality. His physique is nuts. He's a hard worker. Comes in tremendous condition. It's just a matter of adding a little bit here, a little bit there to, and it's not far off. It's not like Ramon smokes him.
Yeah.
They're very comparable, and his condition is awesome. I just think he needs a little more roundness to the muscle, a little more fullness. Look at that. I mean, that's as sharp as it gets.
Yeah.
And he's still very young. So you can tell it's a young physique. He needs just a little more time to build a little bit more roundness. That's it.
See, this is where they both have really good biceps. I think Ramon gets him in the triceps. He's not beating him in the legs, but just a little bit more fullness in the upper body, especially the arms. They're getting better, but I feel like if he gets his arms up somehow to the level of Ramon, that's when he could possibly finally beat Ramon again.
Yeah.
But I mean, tricep looks good there, but everybody looks great on their own. It's when you stand next to a guy with like a classic guy with 21-inch arms or something that becomes a real problem. But there was a whole lineup. Yeah, but Urs, we wish him the best. Look at that. This was a condition at 10 weeks out. So I never worry about Urs coming in shape. He's one of those guys. It's like Jose Raymond. I was like, oh, is Jose going to be in shape? No, I didn't. I never had to ask that question. We knew. All right, let's go to one of the older guys on the lineup, but you wouldn't know it looking at him. He's not one wrinkle on his damn face, unlike me. Briony, a two-time Classic Physique Olympia champ. I always go to the updates first to see if there's anything. That's peak week. So he's got Chris Cormier on his side, coaching him, training. This was 63 weeks ago. Okay, so that was old.
Before that was
old. Yeah, that was a long time ago. This was probably the last Olympia. No, this is one of the earlier Olympias. You can tell. I don't think he's had that hairstyle in a while. Let's try to find some. Okay, so that was a little recent. That was posted 2 days ago.
Yeah. That's damn impressive.
Look at that. I mean, his arms have always been crazy. Obviously, he won the Olympia title twice.
Yeah.
He was the first Arnold Classic Physique champ a few years back when they started that division. I feel like his legs might have lost just a little bit over the past couple of years. They're still, in terms of like the sweep and the fullness and everything, because I think he's 42 now, 43.
Something like that.
Something like that. But
look at the detail in the legs.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Look at the crevices in there. He was going to move to 212 until they bumped up the weights again after last Olympia, and he got 7 pounds additional added to his weight cap. And so that's what I ask you. Do you see a difference with him now that he's able to come in at 187 versus 180?
Yeah, I think there's a little more fullness in the upper body. I think his back has improved even at the later stage of his career. His back is one of the best in the class. And the problem is with the legs, like they don't tend to improve after the 40s. And everything else is, though. I think his back is awesome.
Well, there's a good shot there. You can see the thickness.
Yeah.
Cormier coaching him there.
Yeah, you know what? He's incredible. I think he's another one that could certainly end up in third place again, or what was he, fourth at the Olympia?
Yeah, he hasn't been lower than fourth ever.
Well, there you go.
I mean, people write him off, but he's still up there. It's not like he's going down, down, down. He's not. He's consistently staying there. But I'd be curious to see if the additional weight that he's able to, because he was one guy who really struggled to make that weight. Really struggled. Yeah. He was in shape. If he had to weigh in at 180, I remember him being like 192, 194, and his updates looking perfect. Like, step on stage right there, please. But he couldn't. He had to keep going and going. Like, I remember when him and Cormier were in Kuwait a couple years ago. Cormier had him eating like fish and water. That's it. He was like on 3 or 4 ounces of tilapia, nothing else. Maybe like a piece of spinach or something every 3 hours.
So did you say that the weight cap went up since this past Olympia?
Was it? No, no. I'm sorry. It was before the last Olympia. It was before the last Olympia.
Okay.
But they found out. I believe they increased it only like it was like 4 or 5 weeks after the Olympia. It's not like they had a lot of time. They were already well into their prep at that point. It wasn't like months ahead of time.
Right, right, right.
But it's funny that, like I said, that the Brazilians, when they were commenting, they usually just put like a dinosaur emoji or something to show the support of Ramon. But a lot of them who are commented, I don't speak Portuguese, but I can sort of figure out what they're saying. They felt like Urs shouldn't be beating Brion. For whatever reason, they like Brion better than they like Urs. So we'll see what happens because he hasn't beaten Urs in a couple of years. Maybe this will be the day. We don't know. I mean, they're all very, very close to each other. Of course, if you say you got to bet your house on one guy to win Classic, I'll probably bet on Ramon. I like my house. So, all
Yeah,
right.
I agree.
Let's go on. Last guy we're going to talk about. I know there's a ton of guys in the show, and guys, I'm not trying to discount guys like Michael Dabul. Someone said I pronounced his name Abdul last week, so I apologize for that. It's Dabul. He's very good. So is Courage Opera. But the last guy I want to look at is, I wouldn't say dark horse. He's very, very popular, and he's damn good. Wesley Vissers from the Netherlands. That's how deep his voice is. Very deep. So Wesley's like another second coming of Arnold. He's 6'2" or 6'3". The Dutch Oak. There you go. He's even capitalizing on that. I'll try to find some physique shots. So yeah, look at this. This is an older picture, of course. This is before the last Olympia. But look at that. Does that not remind you of Arnold right there?
It really does. A giant full chest, big arms. Everything reminds me of him.
Smaller
That's
waist.
very impressive. Yeah.
Arnold never had a waist like that. So this, if we're gonna be nitpicky, we have to. So this was the last Olympia. I want more quad sweeping. Question for you: how much of quad sweep do you think is genetic, and how much can you really change it with foot position and foot stance and things like that?
Both. It is very genetic by where the muscle ties in and inserts, and but you can, like he's posing right there. That looks damn good. He's making it look rounder. I don't know how much weight he has to spare to actually put into growing his legs. He's very young too, right? He's under 30.
Yeah, late 20s, I believe.
Yeah, so he's still got time to improve. As far as I've seen, he's improved every single show, every year. And it wouldn't surprise me if he's at a stage where he just nails it this time around. It's a really fresh look. The muscle it's really impressive.
Yeah, like you say, these other guys, not that they all look alike or anything, but he does have a totally different look.
Yeah.
To me, he really reminds me more of the old school guys like Arnold and Ferrigno and Serge Nubret than Ramon and Urs do. They're more like the modern physiques to me. So that's why his clothing company is called Vintage by what's it called? Official Vintage Genetics. That's his clothing company. So he capitalizes on that. Yeah, look at that. Look at the chest thickness. Like I said, if his legs were a little bit better, I would be a lot more confident about his chances here. But
well, they're getting better.
They are. And what a physique. Look at that. It's that
arm. Yeah, I love it.
Looks like a trophy right there. All right. So that's all the people we're going to cover. Are you going to Columbus?
I'm not. I have some work obligations going on.
Yeah, I have no work obligations, but I'm not going either. So, yeah. Man. So,
I'll miss it. It's like the first time in, I don't know when, 10 years.
Yeah, at least. I haven't missed an Arnold in like almost 20 years, but we're missing this one. Yeah. So last thing, I'm going to put you on the spot. I would do this. And it's crazy because after the top two, it's like you could shuffle so many different names for the Open Arnold Classic. But let's assume everybody is 100% peaked, full, best they've ever looked. Give me your top five.
Hadi, Samson.
Yeah.
That's where it gets.
Yeah.
In any order? Or?
All right, well, let's just say after the top two, give me three, the rest of the top five in no particular order. How's that? That's fair.
Okay. I'm pulling for, we're going to go with 6 because I got, okay. Yeah. I'm pulling for John De La Rosa, I'm pulling for James
Yeah.
Hollings, the shed. So that's 4. We got 2 more.
You got Horse MD, you got Antoine, you got Akeem, Justin, Shaban. It's tough. It's tough.
I would put Akeem in there
Okay.
just because I know how invested Chris is with this, and I know how dangerous Akeem has been his entire career. And we've seen him when he nails it. He's crazy, and he's beating people that aren't even in this lineup. So he's dangerous.
Yeah.
And
And
I want to say, just because his physique is so round and beautiful, Rafael, Hafa.
Rafa. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's tough. I mean, I've given like 5 different versions of my top 5 at this point.
Yeah,
And
well, you can.
so, but last question about it. If Samson wins this,
Yeah.
if he does, does that put him in position to be the favorite to beat Lunsford this year?
I mean, on paper, yeah.
On paper, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anything can happen. We've seen predictions are, I call them mental masturbation. They don't mean a damn thing.
Yeah.
Until these guys come out on stage in front of you, day of the show, you don't know what the hell's going to happen.
But
So,
Derek's way younger and getting better himself.
true.
So no, I don't. I wouldn't. Just if he wins this, I don't think he's slated to definitely beat Derek. No.
Oh no, not definitely, but he's definitely going to be the top threat if he beats him, because clearly
Of course.
Hottie's the only guy that's beaten him in recent times. So
Of course.
cool, man. Well, that's it, guys. Please follow Jose on his Instagram, with 2 E's, the Boston Mass. What's going on with your YouTube channel? Nate says you haven't done any new content lately. Let's get it going.
Yeah, we're gonna do it. We just it's been so crazy and busy, and it's one of those things where I do at least 2 to 3 podcasts a week that aren't mine, and I'm just like, I'm running out of shit to talk about.
Well, if you guys ever need me for anything at all for your podcast, you know where to find me. I appreciate you doing all these podcasts with me over the years, with MD on the new channel, helping me build a new channel. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
So that's it. 2015 Arnold Classic 212 champion Jose Raymond is giving us a breakdown, and you can pretty much go to the bank with what he says, because he doesn't backtrack. He sticks by his opinions.
That's it.
So thanks everybody for watching this Arnold Classic preview with Jose Raymond, the Boston Mass. We'll see you next time.
Peace.